we are going to take a look at the driver's display, the infotainment system, and then we're going to take this out and we're going to test the driver assistance features, the highway driver assist, and see what happens if we don't put our hands on the wheel when it tells us to. So let's hop inside and let's get started. Okay, here is your driver's display. So you can see you've got the miles per hour on the left side, you've got your RPMs on the right side in the center, you've got your charging meter for when you do regenerative braking. This is your eco and your power band. Down below is how much battery you have. You get your odometer down here. Underneath here, it'll say EV when it's in EV next to the park. You have temperature control on this side. This just says ready. That basically means that the vehicle is on, but it is in EV mode, so you can't feel it, so you may not realize that it's actually on. It is in eco setting, and you have your gas tank right here with your estimated miles left at 283, and we've got a little over a half a tank, so you should be able to get close to 500 miles out of this. Now up across the top, you have your headlights, and this does have automatic headlights and automatic high beams. Then you have your driver assistance stuff right across here. So you got your lane keep assist, you have your speed, and this is your adaptive cruise. There you've got speed limit sign pops up here, also the stop signs when they're coming. Then in the middle is your little menu, and then that's the one that we're going to look at right now that we can adjust. And to adjust that, it is on this side right here. And you have a page button. This scroll will adjust what's there, and if you press the page button, it will go through each different thing. That's what we are going to do right now. We are set there, and so this center screen right now, I'm going to use the scroll bar, and this is since refueling. You have your current trip, idle mode, which is showing that it's running on the battery. There is your all-wheel drive system, kind of tells you where the power is being delivered. Your tire pressures, your engine temperature, the last time you reset it, which was at the beginning when they first got this car, so it's averaging 24.2 miles per gallon overall, which is not anywhere near the 35, but this is a test vehicle for media, and so we do a lot of different things in these vehicles than just drive them on it normally. All right, so now I'm going to switch the page. So now that is switched over to your compass, and there is no other adjustments there. And one more takes you to your driver assistance, and there's nothing you can do on the scrolling there, and then back to your main screen. So that is pretty much your driver's display. Inside the infotainment screen, which we'll look at in a minute, you can change the way that this looks. So right now, it is set on simple, and you can go to classic if you would like it on classic. And then also, this is linked to drive mode. So when you change your drive mode, it'll change the way that this looks. You can go also change it to style A, and it'll always stay on that. Style B or style C, which is basically your sport mode. But if you put it in simple, that's kind of what it looks like. So if you want to have it actually look different and have the red on there, then you'll want to go to classic. You do have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. If you press the three dots right here, this will bring up your apps, and you hit the Hyundai, and then that will take you into Hyundai's system. So here you have your phone, and it'll bring up any information you need with your phone. Android Auto, that'll take you right back to that. You have voice memo. Then you have a seats button. You can hit this button right here, and then that will bring up, you can turn the heated seats on the second row if you would like to. You can move the backs on the second row forward or backward, and you can also fold them from here, which is pretty cool to be able to do all of that. Then you have your weather, and then we have setup. Inside your setup, you have a lot of different buttons. So if we start over here with vehicle, then you have your driver assistance. So this is where you can change and set up all of your driver assistance features. So you can go through each one, or you can just click on them right here. Like we can click speed limit right there, speed limit assist, speed limit warning, speed limit information, or you can turn it off, and then you can set the offset. We have it set at 5 miles per hour. That way it doesn't yell at us constantly. And then we go back here, and then you can hit your driver warning, forward attention warning. This will use the eye tracker right here and make sure that you are facing forward when you are driving. And then the leading vehicle departure, basically when you're sitting and stopped, when the car in front of you moves, it's going to tell you, hey, you can go. So here's where your drive modes are. So you can have your brake mode as normal or sport, so you can actually feel a little bit more aggressive braking. Well, that's pretty interesting. And then drive mode change alert basically will beep and tell you when at any time that you've changed anything. Eco vehicle, start coasting. This will give you an idea of how to maximize your efficiency. So it will tell you when to start coasting, or take your foot off the accelerator and coast before you hit your brakes. So you can set this up to let you know early, so you can coast longer, normal, or late, last minute, coast for just a little bit and hit your brakes. You do have a smart regeneration. So this will help rejuvenate your battery and do it in the best possible way. And then you also have green zone EV drive. So it maximizes your EV drive to protect the environment. So go to climate in here. This is going to recirculate your air. You can activate when you enter tunnels, that type of thing. You have your seats. So if you have a seat position alert, it'll pop up on here every time you adjust your seat. And then you can turn on or off your easy access, whether you want your seat to stay where it's at, or you want it to slide back or open all the way so you can get in and out easier. Your lights, so you have ambient lighting in here, so you can change that and adjust it. You can link it to the drive mode, so it kind of changes colors during that. And then we go back, and this is for your turn signals. You can set it on 3 flash, 5 flash, or 7 flash whenever you do the just little push down that you want to change lanes. And then you have a welcome mirror and light, so your mirrors will open up and your door will unlock. Doors, you can have them automatically lock at a certain speed, automatically unlock. When you shift it into park, all the doors will unlock. You can have it when you shut the vehicle off, or you can just shut it off and they just stay unlocked all the time. You got 2-press unlock, power lift gate, and then how fast do you want the power lift gate to open. Digital keys, so you can use your smartphone as a key. You have an NFC key, a card key, or a digital key information there. And then you go to convenience, rear occupancy alert, service interval, oil change reminder, wireless charging system for your mobile devices, and then your mobile phone wireless charging indicator, and auto rear wiper in reverse. Okay, you can go into your drive mode next, and this is the same place where we were at just a minute ago. You can set up your My mode, so if you want to drive in Smart, if you want to drive in Sport or Eco, and then your steering the same way. You can have it a little tighter if you'd like it a little tighter, or a little looser. So now you have navigation, your sound, which you can adjust the Bose sound system in here, and it does sound really good. Your positioning, where you want your speakers to maximize the volume for you. Tone, you can adjust your EQ there. Guidance, you can have the volume adjusted for any guidance for your navigation and that type of stuff. You do have radio noise, so this is going to, you can have the original sound, or you can have a little bit of reduction or a maximum reduction in excess sound coming from the radio. Driver assistance, this is kind of a warning volume there. You got a haptic warning, lane safety, audible warning, and driving safety priority. We're going to be able to test all of those features out soon. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Device connections, this is where you go to connect your device. You just hit add new, and then it will bring it up on your phone in Bluetooth, and then you just connect and everything. You just answer the questions as it goes, and it'll set everything up and ready to go. Message notifications, we got predefined messages. So if somebody sends you a message, you can just hit a button and say, okay, thanks, I'll call you later, I'm on my way, without having to type it in. And you got Bluetooth voice prompts. So that's a pretty nice feature too. Voice recognition, we have screen layout, so you can kind of change the way that your cluster over there, which we talked about earlier. You do have a split screen for certain other items that you may want to be looking at. Your display, brightness, camera setting, blue light filter. If you want to turn that on at night, that's probably a really good idea. And then you have your cluster heads-up display settings, which we kind of mentioned about the heads-up display. You can adjust it, brightness and everything, and how much, what all you want on there. So this has basically everything. It's the only thing I don't have on there is it's showing my radio. And then under your cluster, that is everything else there. You got a tachometer, what you want the tachometer to look like. So Eco Sport, My Drive Mode, or Snow. And then in general is just going to be your software, your date and time, language, that type of information right there. We go back, and now we can swipe over one more. You have sports, valet mode, Hyundai Pay, vehicle diagnostics, so you can see what is going on with the car. If you happen to think there might be something wrong, or you can just have this on a routine check just to make sure that all of your systems are working well. Service maintenance right in here is going to kind of just tell you when it needs to be done and how soon. And that's it. And you have an online manual right up in here, and then any notifications will be available right there. That is everything on the driver's display and the infotainment system. So now we're going to go out and test the driver assistance features. We are going to test what happens if you don't put your hands on the wheel after it tells you. Because some cars will stop, some cars just brake, some will turn on bings and noises trying to alert you. We're going to go test those things out right now and see what happens. We're getting ready to go to a curve, so we're going to go ahead and turn on. We're going to go ahead and turn on the lane centering. So now you can see at the top of the screen up there, lane centering is on. First corner, I'm going to keep my hand on the steering wheel. So go around the corner, and okay, it's doing okay. I have my hand resting on it. I'm not actually turning the wheel. I'm letting it do it itself. Okay. Got a little bit of a crosswind today, probably at about 10 miles per hour or so. All right, this one, I am not going to touch the wheel. I'm going to let it do it itself. All right. Driving all by itself. I'm not touching the wheel. Got a hand over here. You guys can see that. Okay, so have not touched the wheel. All I'm going to do is follow and see what happens. All right. Nothing is happening right now. It's still driving on its own. Not touching anything. Still hands-free driving for right now. Still hasn't told us to put our hands on the wheel. All right, still has not told us to put our hands on the wheel. We're at about, okay, eyes on the road, driver assistance is limited, it says. But it's still doing lane centering. Hasn't done anything else other than told me to keep my eyes on the road. So obviously the eye tracker is doing its job. So we are still going. Still have not told me to put my hands on the wheel yet. So that's interesting. We're at about 2 minutes now. Still hasn't told me to put my hands on the wheel. Everything else is still driving just fine. See, there's the heads-up display out there showing green. Driving down the center of the road. Lane centering, still going. All right. Still counting down. We're at about 2.5 minutes now. Still hasn't told me to put my hands on the wheel yet. So we're still going. Cruising along. Guardrail doesn't affect it, doesn't really care, just keeps driving. Now, there we go, hands on the wheel. So now it tells me to put my hands on the wheel. I am not gonna put my hands on the wheels because we're gonna see what happens if we don't. What if I passed out? What if I fell asleep? What if I'm having a medical emergency? What's gonna happen? All right, keep hands on the wheel, beeping at us now. This is about 3 minutes and 15 seconds in, still telling us to keep our hands on the wheel. All right, take control of the vehicle immediately. The vehicle is stopping. All right, it's slowing down, slowing down. There's the driver, the heads-up display also still telling us it's stopping, stopping. Okay, we are coming to a stop. We have stopped. All right, all the alarms systems are on, and it is connecting to the SOS emergency system. I'm going to go ahead and end that because
to Hyundai Blue Lincoln.
We don't need that. All right, put it in park, put it back into drive, and we are away. That worked out really well. It did bring us to a stop completely and contacted SOS, or contacted the emergency systems, which is excellent. That is a very good thing for it to do. Now, I went ahead and ended it because I didn't really need to talk to them because there was no problem, there was no incident, there was no accident or anything like that. But I think it probably did drive just a little bit too long before it told me to put my hands on the wheel. I mean, we were going on 3 minutes or so before it told me to do that. So may have been a little bit too long, but that's kind of why we like Hyundai, because they don't bother us as long as it'll let us do its job if it thinks it can. So anyway, great job. Brought us to a complete stop. It did hit the alarms and everything, and I think it probably should have also hit the brakes a few times to try to alert me to take over instead of just shutting everything down and stopping and having a bunch of binging. Maybe if they do hit the brakes a couple times, it might jar somebody awake or bring them back to consciousness or something like that. So other than that, that's it. All right, guys, give it a thumbs up, spread this video around so people can see how safe this vehicle actually is or isn't, depending on your view on it. And click on the video that's on the screen, and it's going to give you more information about this vehicle. Also a review out there for this vehicle. So all right, that's it on the 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid. So I will see you later, and have a blessed day.